Greetings, everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel, All That Is. I'm so pleased to welcome a very special guest today, Melissa Brace, who's coming to us live from Sedona in the United States. Hi, Melissa. How are you today? Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
Raquel. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Doing great.
Awesome. So, everybody, I think some of you might already know, I'm coming to you live from Adelaide in Australia. I'm here temporarily helping my family and, of course, landing those higher dimensional energies and anchoring it here in Australia. So, we are straddling two great continents, Melissa and I, today, bringing in those powerful energies. I'm so excited for this chat today. So, thank you, Melissa, for accepting my invitation and for being here on this show. Um, so we're going to do a few different things. I'm going to first of all let you guys know a little bit more about Melissa, and I'll tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll just have a chat and just generally talk about Melissa's background, Melissa's I guess understanding of this ascension journey, if you will, that we're on, and her lovely services and how she's helping the collective. And then if we have enough people in the chat and if anybody wants to interact with us and ask Melissa questions directly, Melissa has gladly accepted to answer questions and tune in to anybody that wishes to ask questions in the chat. So let's talk a little bit about Melissa, and I'll give you a little bit of a background about Melissa and what she's all about. So Melissa is a natural born psychic medium, a channeler for over 30 years now. She's got 30 years of experience. She's renowned for her abilities, clarity, integrity, and kindness. In her own words, Melissa says she is a multidimensional conduit, connecting her directly to God. Her diverse titles and roles cover many spiritual practices and beliefs: starseed, healer, divine alchemist, visionary, mystic, life coach, Reiki master, spiritual hypnotherapist, animal communicator, curse breaker, prayer warrior, and a cosmic tour guide. For many years, she has been affectionately known as the Angel Ladies by those who seek her guidance and support. An unyielding commitment to love is at the heart of her calling and mission. Her purpose is to help others awaken to their true selves, guiding them to become who they were meant to be. Melissa focuses on guiding individuals towards healing their hearts, cultivating love, happiness, and freedom, and standing firmly in their divinity during ascension and awakening. Melissa's spiritual journey began in the Midwest, where she developed a deep connection to nature. She now shares her love and light to guide others spiritually. Wow, what a great introduction, Melissa. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Raquel. Thank you.
You have such a variety of things that we can talk about, and you've got 30 years experience on you. So yeah, take us back to the beginning and just, wherever you want to start, however you want to, take us down memory lane, if you will, and how you started off on this journey. Like, if you want to start at childhood, perhaps, because you said you were born with these abilities, right? So let us
Yeah.
know how you sort of fit in with this world and how you brought your gifts forward.
Well, I have actually been on a little remembrance path in the last few weeks on this exact subject, just remembering back to my childhood when I was a little bitty. And I would not listen to anyone and go to bed on time. And every once in a while I would say, the story is so silly, but I would say, excuse me, I have to go to bed because the lady is going to come talk to me. So I would have visitations from this angelic being, and she would talk about, it was like if I could remember correctly, because I was very young, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, every once in a while she would come and she would say, this journey will be very hard. And you just keep following God in your heart, and you are blessed. And she would give me a kiss on the forehead or like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she would tell about using different words, stuff that I had no comprehension of. And it was about ascension and awakening and color, frequency, all kinds of stuff. So I have vague memories. And then throughout my lifetime, she will come and the funny part about that story is that I thought she was Glinda the Good Witch. So being a kid,
Yeah.
this glowing woman with flowing woman, it was all I knew was the from the movie Wizard of Oz. So that was my beginning. And I always just felt things and knew things and had just that extra sight.
Yeah. How did that gel with your family and your friends? Like, did you ever think that you were different, or did you think that everybody thought and felt the way you did?
Um, it was a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. I grew up in the Midwest in a tiny town with lots of religion and things like that. I didn't
Mhm.
understand other people were not having these experiences, and it was extra sensitivity. Um, and I'm adopted as well. So
Okay.
I got the best parents. My mom she started calling me like her little cosmic child and Starseed when I was a kid. So that was in the 70s.
Okay.
And so she led me along the path and helped me. She, many times in my life, she would say, don't let anyone define you and make you feel like you're a lesser.
Hmm.
And so she would teach me in different ways, and she would help me find books or understanding about different parts of spiritual path. Or she always knew I was on the spiritual path, and she gave me a crystal when I was in seventh grade and let me learn. And so I really had the best teachers. She was tough for me sometimes,
Yeah.
but she was the best teacher and protected me and kept me safe and on the outside, I didn't understand that other people were not experiencing knowing things and seeing maybe some extra people in the house or
Yeah.
things like that. And but again, mom and dad helped me have a balanced, healthy um, journey in my gifts and talents. And although they were always opposite and didn't understand me sometimes,
Hmm.
they always made sure that I would never let go of my calling and my connection with God.
Awesome. That's beautiful. So, did
Yeah.
you ever have the experience of, and I'm just, riffing off of like, we see movies and movies like put the fright into us about ghosts and, be afraid of this and afraid of that. And so, did you ever have any fear of, and sorry, let me backtrack. Do you actually see beings on the other side? Like, what is your sensitivity? Do you hear? Do you see? Do you feel? Like, what is your sensitivity?
I'm real visual. So I
Okay.
do see and sometimes I can feel and know. So it's almost like a grouping of all the clairs at
Okay.
once. But I'm
Okay.
very visual, so I'm curious.
Right.
So in my mind, I want to understand and learn. So I keep going and I look.
Right, right,
So
right. So there was
yeah,
no
so I
fear involved, right? Like at
well,
an early age,
sometimes
did you experience fear?
I did. I had some
Okay.
moments where I would just I would feel that energy that wasn't right. We've all been there, right? Like we
Yes.
want to turn on the lights and run down the hallway and sit by someone else. It's okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember I have an older brother and a younger sister, and every once in a while I would just run into my parents' bedroom and they'd be like, okay. And my sister had a queen size bed. I had a twin size bed. And they said, if you ever want to go, you know, don't scare your sister. Don't tell her that you're seeing extra people or having experiences, which wasn't very often. It wasn't like all day, every day. It was
Right.
just, yeah. But sometimes and throughout my lifetime, I have learned the hard way that there were, um,
The good guys and the
good
bad
energies
guys.
and bad energies.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and my mom, who was a very intelligent, amazing woman, she had no comprehension of how to teach a very sensitive, cosmic child anything. And so we rolled with it. We worked on it. And so yeah, she did always stop to listen to me, even if she was mad at me or really annoyed with me, to make sure that I was safe and comfy. And
Oh, that's awesome. It's great to have that
so
support, right? And understanding right from a young age. It's
mhm.
just so beautiful. I just want to take a quick pause and welcome everybody in the chat room. We have about 7 viewers, I think, which is wonderful. So welcome everybody. And if you missed it in the beginning, Melissa will be taking questions from the chat. So bring your questions. Melissa will tune in and give you those psychic readings live here within the chat in a little while. So make sure to join in and interact with us in the chat. And thank you again for being here. So yeah, just going back again to so what was your younger, like your teenage years or your 20s like, Melissa? Were you still in the Midwest, or did you move at that point?
I stayed in the Midwest for a long time. Um, and immediately when I graduated high school, like the day I graduated, I moved to the bigger city because I was in a small, like farming and ranching town,
Hmm.
which is wonderful. But I wanted to see what the world looked like. So, and then I stayed there in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Okay.
for a long time, like 18
Awesome.
years.
Wow. And you are in Sedona right now. How do you like living in Sedona?
I really do. It's my favorite place that I've in this area. It's my place that there's something inside of me that just feels at home here and safe, and it's just a different flavor
Hmm.
of living than any other place that I've ever lived. And I've lived in Texas as well. And
Okay.
so
Wow, all of these are just names to me right now. I'd love to visit. I've just been to California and that was it. I've just been to Mount Shasta and that was it in the US. And of course, you land in a plane and you take off, but just transiting. But otherwise, I haven't really been to. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. I went to Bellingham. Yeah, that's close to Vancouver, right? So it's just a hop over. But that's as much as I've seen of the United States. So one day, hopefully, I'll
really,
come visit. Yeah.
well, please do. You will love it. It's so there's the vibe, as it's known for. And we get to be extra woo-woo here,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
makes my heart happy every day just to be in the flow and with
yeah,
all the different kinds of people, and meeting just feeling safe and at home with all the people.
yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about you are in a very special location, right? You're at a Stargate. So tell us a little bit of Sedona and what it is you experience in terms of the energy there.
Um, there is an intensity of the energies for me at least. And I remember when I worked at I work at my own office now. But when I worked at a couple of different places, sometimes all of us would look at each other, the people that worked in the office and go, "Who? Do you feel that energy? Is it a little bit low? Is it a little bit high? What's going on?" And we would help each other get through the intensities and sometimes waves. And funny that my mom always used to call me the Starseed and Cosmic when I was a kid in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. And just, it makes me giggle because I always love the skies and the earth I can feel it. And here in particular, it's almost like the earth herself will talk a little bit extra if you ask. And Sedona is known for some being sacred, and the sacred beings and
Mhm.
energies are willing to interact with you and things like that. So sometimes I forget about everything and I go
Mm.
to one of the places that we would call Vortex or
Mhm.
close to the Stargate area. And it's big, it expands. And so I think all of us here, um, all of us here came here, were called to hold the light, hold the
Mhm.
purity.
Hmm.
and learn and grow and walk our walks in this
Yeah.
energy that is, it'll kind of quickly realign you. And if you're off balance or for anything, it'll just quickly help you find the answer and the truth. So, kind of intense and awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you realize that, this was your mission for you to come here and help humanity in this way, um, and offer
Um,
the kind of services that you do?
there were two main pieces that are like there are like little points in my life. And again, one was when I would have the visitations from the beautiful, sparkly lady,
Hmm.
and who I now know as Pleiadian energy angelic.
Okay.
And and so she would say, you're going to do this path if you choose to,
Hmm.
and however you choose to express it, it might be tough, but this is what you were built for. You had come here many times to learn how to do this.
Right.
And so that was one. And then one time I was in high school and I was in the library by myself writing um, a science report project about kinesiology or muscle testing or energy testing.
Right.
So that was in the 80s, and a little bit, yeah, and everyone always rolled their eyes at my stuff, but um and I had another visitation, and I'm there at school, and I did not see them, but I felt a group that I would call angelic council, and they said, you're going to be like a psychic medium. Like, there were just beginning to have psychic mediums on television, like Sylvia Brown from the Montel Williams show, if any of
Right.
you are
Yeah,
are
yeah. I
old
remember
enough to
that.
remember.
Yeah, yeah, I remember
um
that for sure.
and so I'm like, what? And I said, and they said, you can, of course, you can just just lean on God and keep talking to God, and but you were born for some of this. And I thought, okay. And it's in the years that ahead, I was like, no, I don't want to be the weird lady. I don't want to be the weird person. But I already was, and I didn't know it. So, and I finally, um, after some strange learning experiences and circumstances, I just went, okay, fine. And the final one came after years and years. I'd already been doing readings, and I also did massage therapy and energy healing, and took all the classes and did all the things. And the final one came when my mom calls me, who was very difficult, like strong, little bitty, tiny lady. And she said, in your hometown, which I avoided at all costs, it had it with my hometown, and I just hid myself all the time. And she said, I was in I don't know, Chamber of Commerce meeting with somebody, and they said they wanted to have a psychic come in for Halloween. And she said, I told them all that my daughter was the best psychic medium ever. And they all, dropped their jaw. And I'm like, what, mom? And she said, so do you want to come and be kind of the energy entertainment and do some readings? Because that's what you do. That's your life.
Yeah.
We're very proud of you, is what she said. And I said, okay. And so I did. And it kind of opened up everything. And I had friends that said, we knew you were spiritual and you helped me 16 times, but it's like you keep hiding. So I decided not to hide anymore.
Hmm. And
And
how was
that's where
that
I learned.
event? So it was it just, I'm sure it was a success.
It was, and it was so busy that I did it for 10 years, once a month.
Wow, that's amazing.
12
Yeah,
years.
awesome.
And so, and then I traveled some more, and people from um, different places would call me and say, hey, we heard about you. Would you come visit us? And my favorite one was when Santa Barbara called me in Illinois. And I'm like, yes, all right. I've never been anywhere like that. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, awesome.
And so
That's really
that's how it
cool.
started. And
Yeah.
and I accidentally got called to Sedona, which I'd never been around Arizona, and I wasn't ever really interested in being in a place with psychics and healers. I just wasn't until I drove in the first time. So, and I
Wow.
knew it. It made me cry, and I thought, oh
Yeah.
man, what's going
That's
on
like
here?
heart connection anchored, hey? Wow,
Uh-huh.
that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your services. And, I know you have a variety of services, and I'll put a link in the description for anybody that wants to connect with Melissa. But if you just want to give us a flavor of what people might expect when they sign up to come and do a session with you. And I know you also have a connection with animals. So perhaps after you talk a little bit about the psychic part of, your connection with the humans, you can also talk about the animal connection as well.
I would love to. Thank you. Yes. Um, the animals are my favorite thing in the whole world still.
Yes, yes.
So I always added that on. And that was also a recommendation by my mother, who watched me as we were growing up accidentally bring home extra animals, hide them, feed them until they found out they had more dogs or cats. um, and then they could, yeah. Um, so yeah, mainly and overall, the words I would use would be psychic, medium, channeler. And for me, with my background in massage and like shamanic practices, I that was just deeply important in my heart to help us all heal in ways that are right for each person.
Mhm,
Since everyone's different, one of my main skills is to help people, like, of course, read the energies, what's happening being a psychic medium,
mhm,
and um, to be able to perceive or at least hold hands and open the door for someone in their own shoes
mhm.
so that they always feel safe and they find their own connection with source in whatever ways that means, and their path is safe. And um, so that's always, it's actually been really fun. Within those words, psychic medium, it's kind of hard to define any of us healers or
Yeah.
as ascension workers, light workers, grid workers. I made it my life so much that I would about every decade I would go into a different direction and overly learn, like,
Mhm.
energy healing, grid work, and in different areas, paranormal things back in the day.
Yes.
um and so it was just always an adventure, and then I would just pull it all together and go, okay, this is what I've learned. I would realize one day and go, oh, okay. And then sometimes I like to make up my own title, like cosmic tour guide. I made that one up, and spiritual engineering about 20 years ago, spiritual spa 20 years ago. And I just pull it all together. And so when people, I have neat different services, of course, with different titles,
Mhm.
but the overall is reading the energy, coming together in a safe place where we can um, help figure out what's right for each person.
Yeah.
And so,
And I suppose people come to you for many different reasons, right? It could be difficulty in relationships. It could be passing away of a loved one, for example. Is that right?
those are the top two,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
And just because I've just, for so many years, just really have a clarity with our loved ones crossed over and our guides and guardian angels sometimes.
Mhm.
So it's almost like the focal point. And so, yeah, and relationships
Yeah.
and helping, open doors to find purposes,
Mhm.
help people see their own purposes is what I'm saying. And just because I am so inquisitive and curious in my own right, I love
Yeah.
to keep learning.
Yeah.
Um, so I, you know, recognize the next step in each level.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody that has absolutely no idea what a psychic medium is, or is totally, let's say, what's the word? It's like they just don't want to have. It's like a blockage, right? They don't want to have anything to do with it. Like they're completely, um, well, I shouldn't say unaware, but aware of it, but think of it as woo, right? And they just don't want to put even tip their toe into that realm, if you will. What would you say to those people? Like in my view, they are certainly missing out, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're missing out on the expansion. Every once in a while, and because I started and being public with my work, like I'm still not married. I've not had a lot of responsibilities, so I could put my shingle out more safely
Mhm.
in the past. And I've had people in the past, just lately even, have really negative things to say. But um, the truth is that they don't know, and it's not scary. The divine is not scary. The light of God is not scary.
Yeah.
And so, and that's okay. I'm not ever upset if someone is like, ooh, yuck, I'm
Yeah.
not into your stuff. And every
Yeah.
once in a while I'll say, well, I'm not into football.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not, and I'm certainly not great at what you are really good at. So,
Yeah.
um, and I do feel over the years, a lot of people going, okay, well, you're just a genuine you person.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so,
And that
that's
comes
that bridge.
across right away, like just speaking to you, you use such a beautiful energy, you're so welcoming. And so I think that eliminates a lot of that initial resistance, if you will, right? If somebody's wanting to come to you and they say, oh, I want to go to somebody, but then you feel that resistance sometimes from people. But I don't feel that at all with you. You've got such an open heart, such a beautiful energy. So I think that takes away all of that resistance, and just you have that welcoming energy into your heart. So I think that's really awesome, and that's part of who you
Thank you.
are, I think. Yeah, yeah. So that's great. So
And
you
I,
want to.
I also think most of the, main, like most of the healers, they're true on that path.
Mhm.
They might have different personalities and tall and short and do things a little bit differently,
Yeah,
but yeah, I
I think
don't
you
even
can
know what.
tell right away, when people are authentic and speaking from their heart. And I think that comes absolutely, very, very clearly from you. You come across as a very authentic and truthful person, and you just bring that beauty along with you. So I see
And I
that
think
right away.
we're all following the laws of the universe to the best of our abilities
Mhm.
and continuing. So yeah, and really it's a beautiful, fun life to be able to be on this path, really.
Yeah, the more you open up to it, the more it just envelops you, right? Yeah.
Totally. Hmm.
So we have a question, Melissa. You want to dive in and take a question from the audience?
Yes, please, and thank you. Yes.
Okay, we have a question from MLK Limick. I hope I get that right. Um, my dog Aspen passed away 2 years ago. She was my baby girl. A few months ago, she came to me in her full body. She just walked into my bedroom. How did this happen? Is the question.
Oh, beautiful. Aspen. Um, you've always felt her, haven't you? What I'm picking up is that you and Aspen have always been like it was meant to be. So you're guides and best friends and loved ones, and she was teaching you or showing you that rainbow bridge. And so some of us um, working in energy or frequency are working on those rainbow bridges, frequencies to pull heaven and earth together, new earth. And she walked right in through one of the dimensional portals, and she knew you would be able to see her. And she got to sit with you for a little bit, didn't she?
I'm not getting anything yet, but maybe if MLK Limit can answer the question. Were you able to interact for a while, or was that just the only time you were able to see her in your bedroom?
Feels like that she stayed for not just a flash, but stayed for a little bit. So it was enough to go, oh, hello, hi, and maybe even touch each other. So to me, that are the densities or dimensions coming together to remind us so that we are not separate, that we are one whole.
She says, yes, she did.
I feel like she's always been one of your main best friends, guides, guardian angels, whether we have, whether it's been in past lives or in these different dimensions when we're not in our human form. And to me, she feels like she's healthy, happy, whole, and well. And she's always walks side by side with you. So every once in a while, you might hear her toes or think about her extra. Or on occasion, I think you might see her again walk in the room with you and fully visually with your eyes be able to see her. So that's beautiful. I believe it's the dimensions and densities coming together, reminding us that we are not separate from source or separate from each other. And love is part of all that is.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for the question. That's such a
Thank
beautiful
you.
message. So Aspen is with us as well, isn't it? That's beautiful. Yay, Aspen.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Aspen.
bridging those dimensions for us. So that's a beautiful message. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. So where should we go from here, Melissa? Do you want to talk a little bit about I guess the UFO sightings in your location and the tours that you offer?
Yes, that is one of the funnest things ever for me. So, again, going back to childhood, every once in a while I would have a comfortable or not comfortable sighting or experience. And when I got here to Sedona, I had a lot to learn. I wasn't like I knew everything
Mm-hmm.
and how things worked here and what it was like. And there were UFO tours, and I thought, wow, how cool is that? And all the years of doing psychic medium work, energy healing, all those things, I thought, I've got to learn. So I started taking other people's tours and asking questions and learning. And I realized, no wonder my mom called me cosmic. This is one of my things. It's one of my purposes. And it
Yeah,
kind of extra activated here in Sedona.
yeah.
And then still, I've got a lot to learn. But so I opened a kind of a small UFO tour, and um, we used the military night vision.
Awesome. Okay,
But
cool.
almost everybody here, um, whether they like that subject or not, pardon me, has seen with their naked eye some unusual things. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just keep asking as I go along and meditating and working on things and working with asking for the galactic energy of just pure that Christed galactic energy.
Mm-hmm.
And part of my missions that are involved in all of this is
Yeah.
just clearing stuff, clearing the coming out of the what I like to call the inverted matrix or the upside down, kind
Mm-hmm.
of like referring to that TV show, The Stranger Things,
Yeah.
and becoming free. And so the UFOs and the star experience, this beautiful skies here, and are part of that, part of the learning, part of my quest in
Mm-hmm.
learning about other people's experiences, because all the different perspectives and what people know, that come through here that I get to cross paths with is fascinating and amazing. And it's just been wonderful. So,
So what kind of crafts do you think you've seen, or where do you think they originate from? Have you got any sense of what they might be?
I usually can read whether it's organic light beings, and I
Mm-hmm.
ask on tours, like, just I ask for us to be truly protected, and
Mm-hmm.
whether the people are aware of that kind of thing or not. So I usually can read it. Every once in a while, I can't quite tell, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
And all of the beings can read our consciousness, so they will answer us.
Right. Right.
So there have been some Pleiadian, and some of it is I guess, real advanced military stuff
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they'll tell, let you know somehow and answer and not, be in your space or anything. But
Right. Right.
I'm amazed at some of the things I've seen.
Yeah.
And
I love the
um,
pictures behind you too. That's really awesome.
my cosmic, I have a bedspread that's got the cosmic looking too. It's been a theme of my life, and the
Yeah.
beauty and the color, and in this subject is, it's of course part of our, what would you call it, our simulation as we're ascending
Mm-hmm.
and learning and growing together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's part of the frequencies, color is, and the tone. And so that is also part of the UFO phenomena,
Mm-hmm.
and safe and peaceful and beautiful and interesting. I think at least it was one of my very first tours that I had my own clients. So I studied for a couple of years before I opened my own.
Mm-hmm.
And we were outside. It was cold in the in the desert when the sun goes down in the winter months. We could wear t-shirts in the day, but sometimes it
Oh
gets
yeah,
real
it gets
cold
cold. Yeah, yeah.
real fast. So we were watching, and we watched a big UFO, which sometimes is through, you could see with your naked eye these two as well. They look like little dots sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
with the night vision, you go, whoa. And so sometimes you can see shape, or sometimes it's kind of like an orb, and they'll answer you. So one of my very first ones, I had never seen this before, and it was a big one, and then a little one chasing it, and they were
Wow.
zigzagging all over, and there were no blinking lights, and I'm like, could those be military jets or whatever,
Yeah.
not so much, no. And so there it was, and I continued to learn and just be fascinated and enjoy. And
Oh,
sometimes
that's
there are
awesome.
satellites and things like that that take a minute to understand what they
Yeah.
are, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's so great. So you're getting a lot of love in the chat, Melissa. It says Melissa is amazing. That's from Denise.
Oh, thank
Um,
you. Hi, Denise.
Melissa is awesome. She is fantastic. So excited to see you, Melissa. Yeah, you're getting a lot of love. Thank you, everybody. So great to have all of you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Yeah, if you
you.
have any questions for Melissa, just pop it in the chat and we'll get that to Melissa. Um, but yeah, I'm totally enjoying this conversation. So thank you so much again for being here and giving us a glimpse into your world. It's truly exciting to have that that understanding of just fellow beings, shall we say, of fellow starseeds or light workers that are doing this sort of thing. I felt very alone, when I first awakened, and it felt very
Yes.
isolating. And a lot of people didn't necessarily understand what I was seeing or what I was understanding and what I was comprehending as that ascension or awakening process. So it felt very alone. So I'm so glad that there are people like you and others like
And
us who
you,
wish. I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
all
But
of us are.
yeah, yeah, we are all learning, and in that learning, I suppose we're helping each other, right? Collectively raise the vibrations, I suppose, for everybody to understand what's really going on, because we've been in the dark for so very long. And through the writing of my books, that was my learning curve, interacting with the interdimensional beings and getting to understand what
Mhm.
my role was and what it is I was bringing forth. And so that was my way of understanding and learning and doing my research and just aligning and assimilating everything into my body, into my mind. And it's taken me about a good 10 to 15 years, to understand all of that. My journey started with yoga and meditation. And so it was a very somatic experience, but it then developed into all of these other things that I experience. And for me, I was thrown in the deep end. I experienced the dark side more than the light side initially. And so I had to wade through the dark waters in order to find those ascended masters and those light beings, in a way that came to help me understand and to correct all of that ancestral um, energy, if you will, that I was carrying with me. And so it's been challenging, but at the same time, like you know, I'm very curious. So, you know, it's like I want to know more about this. I want to know more about any subject that I find out. And I find that really strange when people are not curious. It's like, how can you not explore this? You know, like for me, it's like I need to know everything about this subject, and so I'll go off into a library. Or now, of course, we have the internet, right? So it's that much more easier to find stuff. But you know, with my curiosity, I was able to figure out a lot of things and assimilate a lot of things into my own
And work
understanding.
on it in yourself too. Like, is
Yeah.
that how you did it?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and if I may say, I still fall into moments of dark thinking, fall into the, like on the in the gutter for a minute and
Hmm.
feel alone.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, and I wonder if everybody has moments like that and part of their each step of awakenings, which we, sometimes in a lifetime we have several.
Absolutely.
And some of it is a little grungy for a moment and
No,
uncomfortable.
absolutely. That's been my experience. Yeah. That's the learning curve, right? And within each of
Yeah.
those moments, you come around and you come through it, and you're like, wow, that was certainly, you know, a learning experience for me. And so that in a way is the challenge, right? You're learning through your body, through your mind, through your own experience, and seeing it from that perspective. So yeah, that's the way to learn. And you know, there are people like you and me to help those that struggle along the way. So yeah. Sorry, you were going to
I've
say?
always said my sessions, whatever they have been, um, I always say it's almost like I'm here to hold your hand. I'm not interfering in your energy. I'm not going to choose for you. I'm not going to force you to think like I do, but I'm
Hmm.
going to hold your hand through things. And I think you do the same thing. You've done it for me before.
Yeah.
Um, in our friendship, you're like, "Hey, Melissa, why don't you hold on, breathe with me, and check it out like this?" And you help me see a different perspective. You held my hand,
Yeah.
and on that note, with the interdimensional beings and things like that, that's a little bit uncomfortable subject and fearful for people.
Hmm.
I've not ever had really yucky bad. I mean, there's good and bad.
Hmm.
Um, Overall peaceful. But one of my fun things is that every once in a while in a past life regression, which I've done for almost 20 years, um, people will, in the past life regression, will say, well, yes, I am. And they will say and tell they're in a different space. So they are the recognition that we are also interdimensional and part of our higher selves are the interdimensional beings and the
Hmm.
densities and all that stuff is just fascinating and cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe on that same thought, there is a question in the chat from Joyce Daniel, 1032. Can you talk
Hi,
about,
Joyce.
hi Joyce, can you talk about taking people to past or future lives, please? She says.
Um, People don't ask for future lives very often, but I've done it myself, and that's on myself or with I've had that service, and it was also fascinating. And then we realized that then we start learning the nature of time and space and all those things. So in that, Joyce, I'm going to try to answer. If let me know if I'm not answering the question, please, because it's so much fun to see people go into a hypnosis state to their sacred space and and look into something to their past lives or future lives, which also kind of can delegate a little bit of our theme of purposes, where you if you connect the dots and sometimes heal pieces of the core wound in all of us, traumas, wounds, and it's super cool. So when we do that, it's the funnest thing to see people say yes. And so they usually see, hear, feel, and taste the past life or the future life.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, people will not tell a huge amount because the future is not set in stone.
Yeah.
But they do often talk about like having a different physical
Mm-hmm.
body or
Mm-hmm.
energetic body. And they do talk about ascension and like, oh yeah, we came to bring this
Yeah.
ascension into flow in the future life. Um, and their perspective is different than what we currently have in our everyday life right now. It's a little bit expanded, and then they get to share some pieces about that, and help us open our minds a little bit more and learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
And in the past lives, it works that way as well. Like, you know, some of the lives, because we did not have planes, trains, and automobiles or phones back in the day, or even running water. Some of
Yeah.
them seemed like they would be boring, but it was pioneer days or, 12,000 years ago or whatever it was. And it was just different.
Mm-hmm.
And there are key points in um, those lives that are really beautiful. Or if you were in a war in a
Yeah.
past life, it helps you go to the core of your being and remember who you are.
Yeah. No, that absolutely aligns with what I have seen and heard in my interactions with the ascended masters. And for those that don't know, I channel Yeshua ben Joseph, aka Jesus Christ, and Mary Magdalene, and my guides, who are ironically, one is from the Pleiades, one is an Arcturian, and another is from the 12th dimension. And so these three, as a collective, helped me write my first book, All That Is Progressing to the Fifth Dimension. And my second book was a memoir, in a way, from Yeshua ben Joseph. So I've had interactions with all of these beings, and just going off of what they have told me about past lives and present lives and future lives, it's like we all sort of converge at this point. It's like the present now moment, right? But we are in this body experiencing this energy through this body. And so when we ascend, we go into our light body. And when we do that, we have a review, if you will, of this lifetime. But we can also see all of the past lifetimes and the future
Mhm.
potentials. So we get to glimpse what's coming in the future as well. But the future has many possibilities, potentials, because they haven't yet been lived, but at the same time they're still in the present moment. So I know it blows our mind because we cannot really conceive of those ideas at the moment, right? Because we are in this very dense physical body, right? And we are in this time construct, right? So we live a very linear sort of way. We cannot think multidimensionally. But what I understand is that when we are in that higher dimensional aspect of ourselves, and I'm just saying, giving you this example as a way of, say, for example, I've passed on from this life and I'm doing like a past life review, right? So like you
Mhm.
said, you take highlights from each of those lives, like going back perhaps 2000 years, you had a lifetime, say 2000 years or whatever that was. Highlights of those are taken, and you take, in a way, the highest frequency, if you will, from that life, or the most lessons you learn from that life,
The
or the
wisdom, the real
highest, the
wisdom.
wisdom from that life.
Mhm.
So all of that becomes like a collective of your soul aspect. And so that becomes like your energy, if you will, right? A collection of your energy. And so once you look at all of that, you say, oh yeah, I've had this experience, I've had that experience on whatever planet, whether you were in the Pleiades or on Earth or Arcturus or wherever it was, you have had those experiences in whatever body you were in. Perhaps you were a cat, or perhaps you were Aspen, like we had Aspen come in. So,
Absolutely.
whatever those experiences were, it's a collective of all those energies. And so when you are then planning for your future and what it is you want to experience for your future life or for your future incarnation, you then go into in a thinking mode, if you will, and you plan your future lifetime or your future aspect of what you want to be based on what you did in the past, and say, okay, I want to be whatever, I want to be a musician on the Pallades or whatever, experience love through music, perhaps. So you plan for that potential, and you sort of, in a way, plant seeds of how you would like that life to manifest. But when you are in that life, of course there's all the other things that come into play, like the physical environment, or the beings that are with you that change that path, if you will, right? And that's the beauty
Mhm.
of it, of living in the moment, right? So there are sort of, you're leaving breadcrumbs for yourself, saying this is what I would like to achieve, but when you're actually in the moment, it gets shifted and changed, and that's the beauty of the now
We
moment,
all,
right?
yeah, we all trip a little bit on that
Yeah,
in the now moment sometimes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
maybe we set that for ourselves to learn a little bit.
Absolutely,
Maybe
absolutely.
so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. Well said. Well, really well, good description.
And I've had very potent sort of feedback, let's say, from people that have passed on, like close friends that have passed on, have come into my reality after they've passed on, and they've confirmed that this is what is taking place in the afterlife for them. Like I would say about 10 to 15 days after they pass on, it's like a sort of a void, right? They're just sort of adjusting to their new reality, let's say. And then about,
Mhm.
say, 20 to 30 days later, it's like they're able to understand what their lifetime has been like. And then they're sort of in that light body, and they're adjusting to not having a physical body, and then looking at things and recognizing, reflecting, reviewing all the things that they have done in that lifetime, and then assimilating it with the larger soul body, if you will, right? And so I've had that
Absolutely.
on
Yeah.
two occasions, very close friends of mine that have passed recently in the last 2 years, that have come in and told me, like we are both talking right now, having conversation about how their life is now at the moment. So it's a very beautiful confirmation for me that this is what would happen once you pass on.
It's amazing and profound. I
Mhm.
like to ask that in the people need to know that they would spend all morning or all afternoon with me because that's part of it, and to go look and ask that particular piece personality part of that was in the past life, like
Yeah.
in your life review, do you feel like you accomplished anything? And what about the relationships with other people, and things like that? And by the way, did you recognize anyone in that lifetime from this lifetime? Have you crossed paths with anyone? And a little bit of the life review as well. And that is what comes out in the future life um, progressions.
Hmm.
Sometimes too, and they'll say, "I'm not going to tell you everything," but because you get to choose. We get to choose
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you get
come
to leave
together.
some
But
of the mystery, right? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and they also say stuff about the timelines, like, would you like it to be harder for a really long time, or would you? And I'm like, dang it, is that what I did I choose that? Because I've been known to make my own self have a little bit of a hard time here and there. I'm sure
Yeah.
we've all been there.
Oh yeah.
Um, but but they'll say, I'm not going to tell you every detail,
Yeah.
but you came here for this ascension. The whole world is changing forever. It is the time. And I have asked each one of them, whether it's past or, I'm like, so we've heard that throughout history. So throughout history, everybody thought that it was them that were going through revelations. It was them that was going through and there's just been stages and steps, and we're in a big one,
Mm.
the
Yeah.
big kahuna
Yeah.
of ascension.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I get that sense as well. I've got like a time marker of 2064, is like we are in that sweet spot right now, for us to basically get our shit together.
Yeah, please, please.
Yeah. So Joyce, I hope that answered your questions. We went a little all over the place, but Melissa and I basically, I think we brought the essence of the past, present, and future lives together. So thank you for that question.
Thank you,
Um,
Miss Joy.
but yeah, I think that's awesome, right? So what do you think is the how do I say this? Like where do you see humanity going in the next little while in terms of just us finding ourselves in this ascension process, because I know it's a huge step for us to take, especially when we've been so degraded, so inverted, so blindsided by everything that's been going on. I know that many of us are awake right now to what's happening. And even today, I don't know if you heard this, but Prince Andrew was arrested. So it's like the dark side cannot hold on to their curtain, so to speak, any longer. We're all seeing what's behind the curtain now, and everything is coming to light. So my question is, how do you see the collective, like, releasing that hold, if you will, on that supposed lifestyle that's been in everybody's face? It's like they sort of guide you to live a certain way and to believe certain things, which of course, we all know that a lot of it is not necessarily true, right?
Or healthy, yeah, or
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we're going to keep finding out in layers and layers, maybe different aspects and themes of what we thought was normal, what we must abide by. And so that's in that inverted energy where we thought it was kind of normal to have weirdos
Mm-hmm.
running around and
Yeah.
mean and war. How about that?
Yeah.
And poverty, things like that. And I think we're going to be able to, I'm really seeing that in profound ways lately. It's almost like strip away another layer and another layer, and we'll have to keep holding each other up and getting our stability back and going, okay, what do we do? Because if that system was broken, then we don't know what to do. So it's almost like we're in diapers.
Yeah.
We're 3 months old in this in process in some ways, but I see profoundly a lot of good being done and
Mm-hmm.
people coming together and remembering that unity consciousness on accident, on purpose. And we'll remember what, not like my way is perfect or your way is perfect or for anybody else, but together it makes the big, what I call the soul song come
Mm-hmm.
together of the universe when we keep, I don't think that they can, that lower energy, that inverted energy can blame us anymore,
Mm-hmm.
guilt us anymore,
Mm-hmm.
smash us, silence us anymore
Yeah.
in the next years. A little bit more, a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we come back to clean nature more
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
without as much, not that I don't love technology and learning. I mean, I'm not great at it, but it's fascinating what we have and
Yeah.
what we could have
Yeah.
when it's used in beautiful, kind, safe ways
Absolutely.
without extra creepy AI stuff taking over, but
Yeah.
clean, natural, good things. And I feel like we get to build and create together what our new normal is going to be. And
Yeah.
it's really good for all of the residents of this earth, the animals in the sea, the animals in the sky.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally love that. Yeah, it's always coming back to that heart-centered energy, right? Connecting to that higher energy, that higher self energy. For me, that was very key, connecting to the higher self. Like, I had no idea what the higher self was, so that was a learning curve for me as well, connecting that energy to the creator energy and just embodying that energy. It was such a joy for me to even understand that, like, embodying your higher self, what is that? And so now it's like, it's like you have your own companion, your own guide, holding your hand and walking you through life. Like, who doesn't want that, right? So
Oh,
it
yeah.
yeah, we
Yes.
could all use that help, right? That divine intervention, if you will. So yeah, so my prayer is that everybody finds that within their heart and connects that energy directly to source. And in a way, Yeshua ben Joseph, or Jesus, as you like to call this being, that was his message, his very simple message, connecting to the divine through your heart, living in peace, living simple lives, living in pure love. It was all very
Mm.
simple, but it's all become so convoluted. And um, you know, even when I was writing the book, he's like, you don't need to worship me. You don't need to, go down on your knees and beg and plead. I'm just like you. I once was you. So you and I are doing the same thing. And like he said, those many years ago, you will do better things than I did, because you are
Yeah,
more advanced beings than I used to be, right? And so,
that's my favorite one. That's my favorite scripture or
mhm,
thing that's that's recorded of what he said.
yeah,
And like, like give when you wake up is kind of in my head and my talking with
yeah,
Yeshua.
yeah,
Um, he's always said, and we're equal, man.
yeah,
We are friends. I'm
yeah,
not, you don't have to be perfect.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't talk about it very much, but that's my favorite. And when I always kind of echo hear him say, listen, when you guys wake up a little more, you'll be able to move mountains
yeah,
and, and,
yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah. It's so
strip away the
profound.
lower
Yeah,
darkness and help
yeah,
each other heal
yeah,
like never before.
yeah.
And I believe it. I think it's happening. I think the
Absolutely.
doors are opening extra right now for this.
Absolutely. We are all divine beings, right? We just have to understand that. And we have individual powers within us. We just don't know it.
Mhm.
We've been suppressed so much to believe otherwise that we have forgotten, right? So it's a matter of peeling away those layers and finding that spark, that divine spark within our own being, and letting it shine, letting it come through and share it with everybody, because we're all
Yeah.
different, you and me are different, and everybody is different and unique in their own way. So let your light shine is what I'd like to say. So Melissa,
Beautiful.
one
Well,
last thank you. One last question. We talked about dragons. Would you like to let us know what your impressions are about dragons and the dragon energy that you work with and bring forth, just so we clear
mhm.
away all of the misunderstandings around dragon energy?
Well, I do have a couple of interesting services that maybe catch people off guard sometimes. And one of them, my favorite one is the whales and dolphins. Because I
Mhm.
feel, and so that is to connect with that consciousness of the whales and dolphins, but the dragons, especially since we got to go through the year of the dragon, and happy new year to everyone, because now we're, and
In
then
the
the
year of the
snake
fire
and the
horse.
in
Yeah.
year of the fire horse, which I think is going to be kind of spunky and fun. A little uncomfortable here and there, but fun too. Um, again, but the dragon energy service that I do is oftentimes we might have energies that are dragons, part of our higher self. And um, for me, in the multi dimensions and the omniverse, there are balanced pieces in the true divine blueprint that we're scrubbing out and aligning in. And so the dragon is almost a template, a particular kind of template that helps us, um, that's been very inverted and extremely inverted in us. And it's my service is to connect with your dragon energy
Mhm.
and get some messages, as well as do some cleansing, clearing, and almost like grid work within your body and your surroundings, and cleanse, clear, and recalibrate to your pure, true, divine frequencies. And in that, it goes all the way back to the beginning, to I don't know if 0 point is the right words, but the spark of who you are,
Mhm.
and fills you in those places that hold up the foundation of who you are
Mhm.
in yourself, and activates everything. So it's an activation of your true self in lots of different layers. Just like when we talk about chakras, and
Yeah.
we have 7 or 9 main ones, and
Mhm.
then we have hundreds of other ones.
Oh yeah.
Um, in the dragon energy, it's sort of like, what aspect are we not aware of and we can't put words to,
Mhm.
that we can cleanse and clear and reactivate. So it's so much fun for me, and to get the
Awesome.
messages, and because I'm so visual, I get to see like people's dragons friends in the guides and guardian angels,
Yeah.
and they're different colors and they have different personalities, and they're so much fun. So that's what it's all about. I hope I
Awesome.
explained it well, because
Yeah,
that
that's
concept is a
beautiful.
little bit
Yeah, it's
big.
beautiful. Would you say it's a divine feminine aspect of I don't know, Gaia, of the soul aspect?
Yes. Um, I think it's bigger and more ancient than all of our memory and the inverted stuff and maybe the different civilizations and the waking up of the dragon, which
Mm-hmm.
is not scary,
Mm-hmm.
is part of the real source wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and the bigger picture divine blueprint within us and connected to the divine universe. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that. That's really beautiful. So I would encourage people to go and get a dragon energy reading from Melissa.
I got to do it yesterday with an awesome lady and I had so much fun. I had the best time. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So we have a gridwork mission coming up that I'm hosting, Melissa, and you were at my last gridwork mission. Can we talk a little bit about what your understanding is of gridwork, and if you want to talk a little bit about your experience, perhaps at the last gridwork mission? I know that you do
Absolutely.
your own gridwork in your location and even through your sessions. So yeah, if you want to talk a little bit about that, that would be great.
Some of my training was accidentally grid work. Over the years, I worked with my energy healer, shamanic priestess, counselor person for 13 years, and we have a group that she's passed now, and love her. She's helping us from spirit, and we had a group, and we would meet every week, and people from all over the world, and we would do energy clearing. And so sometimes it was grid work. We didn't even have the word back in the day
Mm-hmm.
when I started. And I remember living in a particular place in an apartment building that had some serious energies, a big high rise. And every night before I went to bed, I would do a little grid work for the inner workings of the area. And I didn't know what I was doing, so it was part of it was natural. When we got to do grid work together
Mm-hmm.
recently, it just made my heart so happy to be able to um, um, just walk with you guys and be able to. One of the coolest things, I don't even know how to say this right, but one of the coolest things that I thought was beautiful was your research on spaces and places within our grids, ley lines, systems, stargates, those particular things that we're learning about
Mm-hmm.
that are real, but we can't see all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in the histories, so the generational lines
Yeah.
and the histories, what kind of energies are there, what's inverted, what's been projected, or what system has been placed in different places. And sometimes you and I might not ever get to go to those places,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
we know it holds a particular point of divine lightness
Yeah.
of being that's been suppressed.
Yes.
And so sometimes within the grid work, when we got to do that with certain beautiful points
Mm-hmm.
across the planet, and
The
just
last one was the elemental healing of Gaia. So we were all, I think we each represented earth, fire, and water, right? Earth,
yes,
fire,
that was
air, and
so fun.
water. Yeah, yeah. I think we had a lot of fun doing that. And of course,
I learned a lot.
yeah, we went across the globe, didn't we?
Hmm.
So this Sunday, February the 22nd, we have another gridwork mission coming up. This one is going to be a little tougher, I would say. We are dealing with a really difficult subject matter, but it's come at a very profound time when a lot of these things are coming to light, you know, with the Epstein files and now with Prince Andrew getting arrested. So it's sort of in the public eye, if you will. And so we came together as a group to talk about bringing this forth and to finally heal all of those energies around satanic ritual abuse and all of those energies. And you know, it's got like tentacles in many aspects of our society, you know, whether it's the entertainment world, the music world, politics, the royal family, you know, it's like in all of these high offices they've got their tentacles in all of these aspects of society, which have been cloaked in a way, and hidden for the general public not to realize what's been going on. But now all of it is coming into the open. And so this gridwork mission will hopefully be able to dissolve, if you will, some of that energy that's being uprooted. So that's what we're hoping to do with this gridwork mission, anchoring that higher dimensional energy into these key locations like the Vatican, like Washington D.C., like London, that have been like the three anchor points for these things to come into fruition, and that hold the power, right, for these atrocities basically to take place. So in a way, we are coming in with the light and we're uprooting all of this garbage, so to speak, and clearing the path, allowing for those higher dimensional energies to anchor. And while I was doing research on this just a couple of days ago, I got the image of a wizard with, the staff, like,
Yeah.
with that very powerful staff. And I got the impression that whoever attends this gridwork mission was to each have a staff in their hand and design it however they want to, but to use that staff to powerfully anchor that higher dimensional energy into the earth wherever we go on our gridwork mission. So that's our mission for the 22nd of February. So I would love to have anybody listening to join us on this mission, even if you just want to be just tune in and just be a participant, that's totally all right. But if you want to participate and be an active participant, whether you are able to remote view these places, or contribute in the way of music, or just give us your background about what you're seeing, what
Prayers,
you're hearing,
holding
prayers, yeah,
the
anything,
energy.
anything that you
Yes,
want to bring forth. Is just your beautiful presence is all is needed. So do join us on the 22nd. It will be at 5:55 p.m. Pacific time, and I will put the links for that as well in the description. So Melissa, in closing, was there anything else you'd like to talk about or say to our guests in
I'm
the
so
live
excited.
stream?
And truly, thank you so much, Raquel. And thank you for being such a beautiful host and friend and um, teacher for us. Thank you. And
You're
I'm really
welcome.
glad I got to be here with everybody today.
You're
And
welcome.
thank
You're
you for
welcome.
asking awesome questions that I don't get to even talk about very often. So thank you.
You're welcome. We have one more question. Are we doing free readings? Did you have a question, Mr. JM4154? We did a couple already. So if you do have a question, Melissa, I'm sure will be happy to tune in one last time before we sign off here.
Absolutely. Yes.
So yes, Melissa, thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been awesome. It's been really beautiful interacting with you and just sharing space with you. So yeah, I look forward to doing this again if you're open to it.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. Next time, can I ask you more questions and what a little bit more
Absolutely.
about you? Yes, I can't
Absolutely.
wait.
Yeah, absolutely. We will do this again
And
for sure.
for the grid work too, like I can't wait for all of us to hold hands together and just hold up that love into this earth.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, yes, I do. Go ahead with your question. We will get Melissa to help you out. Any messages from my mother, Mr. JM4154? I don't know if that's sufficient for you, Melissa, to tune in.
For just a little snib, it would be easier if you had a little more specific, but I'm seeing two people. There's a female and a kind of a younger male. So I don't know if you have a friend or a cousin or a friend that's passed also, and it's a male. And they say that we hear you. Uh, your mom says, I believe you. And she says, thank you. And she's safe. Something about glasses or perception, seeing. You'll see. And what I'm getting is that she's alive and well and where she's supposed to be. And the friend is just kind of almost like waving, saying, I've got you. I've got your back. And that we're not alone and we're safe, all of us. in our physical bodies and in spirit. We're not alone. And thank you for asking.
Awesome. Yeah, I would recommend if you would like to have a more in-depth reading, go check out Melissa's website, melissabrace.com, and I will definitely put that link in the description as well. And you can have a more one-on-one session with Melissa and ask more direct questions. That way you feel more engaged with, with what you're asking and what you're receiving. And I would highly recommend you do that because I've had a flavor of Melissa's work, so she's awesome. The other question from Joyce is, does your soulmate come with you through each life? I believe so, and I think that is a choice that you make. Like I said earlier, you go into this phase where you plan your life going forward, right? Um, so I think it's a choice that you can make. It depends on how you are and how your soulmate is in terms of your individual experiences. Let's say, for example, you've had more experiences than your soulmate, and so for your soulmate to catch up to you in a way, they might want to go off and do another life experience, perhaps, to come into that same alignment with you. On the other hand, you can have a shared life together and you can be that um, individual or that person that is not too engaged with that life, but you're there just as a supporting role. So it could be either or, but yes, the answer is yes and no at the same time. So it's a decision that
Mhm.
you make pre incarnation, I believe. What do you think, Melissa?
I also think that, and I think that we have a lot of different soul family soulmates that help us. It's almost like along the path, almost like following the path.
Mm-hmm.
And so we cross paths with people in some, like a lot of people, we're all looking for love and want to be recognized and remembered
Mm-hmm.
in love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think sometimes some people have their path that they're going to be married when they're 20 years old all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are not. And so it's different in romantic terms and all of that. But yes, absolutely. So sometimes yes. And I think it's oftentimes different than we think
Yeah, yeah.
along the
It's much
journey. Yeah.
larger, isn't it, than
Much
we
bigger.
think it
Yes.
is. Yeah, yeah. For me personally, I came into the understanding that my soulmate was somebody that I knew in this physical life, but who passed on. And now this energy is like my guardian angel, in the
Yes.
background. So it's like I have that awareness right now of that energy being a part of me, being a part of my soul, like one half of my soul, if you will. So,
Yeah.
even though our experiences are very different, in a way, the minute we understood each other and we came into alignment with each other, we're now walking together, right? So I think that's the
Yes.
way it is. Yeah.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though this
Yes.
energy is perhaps in the sixth dimension and I am now in between, dancing between the third, fourth, and fifth dimension, right? And so we are within those different aspects of ourselves. So yeah, it's very, very
Mhm.
unique and individual, I think. I hope that answers your question, Joyce. Thank you both. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. It's truly
Thank
been
you, guys.
an honor to have all of you in the chat room and interacting with us today. Once again, thank you so much, Melissa. I
Thanks,
really,
Raquel.
really enjoyed this interaction. So yes, we will do it again. Thank you, everybody. Put a like on this video. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.